Hello, my name is Steve Gerhardt, and this is the Yonagi Observer. Thank you so much for coming by and watching today's video. There's going to be two parts to the video today. One I'm about to get into. The other part, of course, is going to be a review of Ghost in the Shell 2045, which is on Netflix right now that you can watch. The first season is 12 episodes. There's going to be another season of 12 episodes, but we're going to get into my review of that later. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some swag that I got from OnCon 2020. For those of you who don't know, the folks over at Geek Archaeology, Brent Newhall and his friends, put together a wonderful online convention and went over the entire weekend. Everybody had a lot of fun, and one of the things that we did was an auction, online auction. And those are things I'm like, whatever. But I found that I really enjoyed myself when I did it, and the auction raised a little over $400 and it went towards COVID-19 stuff. So that's really good. And I actually bid on a few things, and I won a few things. So the package finally came in the mail. I think what happened was that the landlord who owns this building here also owns the old apartment building that I used to live in. And I think it was probably because there's no front desk in this building that they defaulted to the old apartment building. And they just neglected to tell me that I had the package. So they've been holding on to it for a while now. And I just got it today. So, see, just got it. So we're going to open this up and take a look at the stuff that I won. Paper. There we go. So it looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit of a reconstruction repair here. That's alright. That'll be fun. So, it's one of the Gundams. You know what else is coming? Yep, something we can articulate here. Articulated movement. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Nice. And one more item in here. Which is pretty good because it has to do with one of my favorite animes of all time, which is Patlabor. And here's the Patlabor kind of like storyboard. Oh, that's awesome. So storyboard, you have, let's see here, archives of the second movie as well. Looks like storyboard for the, oh wow. Wow, this is really cool. Swag. Yeah, I love it. So anyway, so that, some more little bits and pieces in here. So that is the swag that I got from OnCon. Isn't that cool? And hopefully the guys over at Geek Archaeology and Brenda, hopefully we'll get another one up here pretty soon. Looking forward to it. If you didn't get a chance to see it, I did a review of it, so I'll put the link down below. And again, this was awesome. So happy this came in. Really looking forward to messing around with this stuff. Okay, so now on to the review. As you can tell, it looks a little bit different in here. This is actually where I work. I'm in the box office right now. Not because we have a show going on. That's illegal. I'm here to do payroll and things like that. I don't have to come here that often to do that, but I did have to come in. So we're going to do the review of Ghost in the Shell 2045 here, because when I tried to do it earlier in the apartment, I just rambled on for like 30 minutes and it was just a mess. So I'm just going to start over. So here's the review of Ghost in the Shell 2045. Okay, so I'm going to try to rip through this this plot line really quickly so I don't give away any spoilers, because I really want to talk about what I like and don't like about this. Ghost in the Shell 2045 takes place in the standalone complex timeline. 11 years after the Solid State Society incident. A few years after that, the Section 9 is disbanded. We think by no later than 2039, by clues given by Baotao during certain parts of the run of the series. And simply put, is that after Section 9 was disbanded, the Major, Saito, Bato, and four Tachikomas became mercenaries and called themselves a ghost team. Meanwhile, Paz and Boma, we're not sure what they've been doing this entire time yet. As a matter of fact, you only don't even really see them until the last 4 episodes of the first half of the season. The first half of the season is 12 episodes. The another 12 have yet to appear on Netflix. They're in the California desert. Ghost team is in the California desert. They're being ambushed by raiders who are, this is kind of stupid, who are former college football players. Anyway, so as they go along, they're complaining about how all this is underneath them. Meanwhile, back in Japan, Aramaki is, somebody here? Nope. Aramaki is doing his thing to try to bring Section 9 back together to deal with the post-human threat, which he doesn't tell you that's what it is, but it's leading up to that. He finds Tokusa, again, who's a cop now, and says, hey, I'm trying to get Section 9 back together. I need you to find everybody and bring them back in. And that's what Tokusa does for the first half of the show. He's going out there and bringing everybody back. And meanwhile, you come to understand that the world is a lot different place now. And what had happened was the simultaneous global default, which means that all debt, no matter what level, whether it's the individual, corporate, or government, all debt is wiped out. But at the same time, all currency is devalued to 0. So that causes financial ruin for the entire world. But some people in the world, some of the nations in the world are able to bounce back more quickly because they weathered it better. And the top 4 economies, of which 2 of them are the American Empire, of course, and Japan. So you kind of get an idea that there's competition still between the American Empire and Japan, but they're working together because of this post-human threat, which is basically these human beings who are cybernetic or prosthetic enhanced, somehow being changed into these post-humans, and these post-humans are now are engaging in what's called sustainable war. Don't get me started on that. And think the Cold War, but with cybernetics. That's what that is. And I'm vastly oversimplifying it. And they're going to take over the world. Eventually take over the world. So Section 9 is pulled back together, hired again, brought back to deal with this threat. And that is the plot in a nutshell. The reason why I'm doing it so compactly is because to go further, it would take another 20 minutes, and I don't feel like doing a 40-minute video like I did yesterday. I had to scrap that whole thing and try and redo this. And so now we're going to go on to the parts of what I like and don't like about Ghost in the Shell 2045. Let's start with what I like. The world building, as usual, is there, so that's very enjoyable for people like me. Some people get turned off by that. So this is all very interesting, kind of new-ish territory that they're going on. The storylines then involve Togusa either as the main character or an important character in the series, which fortunately for this series is a lot. In just about every episode, he has a major role to play, which is good because his storylines are very good, and people enjoy Togusa anyway because it's just interesting how he does things, because he's the least cybernetic of all the players in Section 9. There are specific episodes that I really like. The last 2 of this part of the first half of the season. Season is divided up into 2 12 episode segments. So the first half is what's released right now on Netflix. So those last 2 episodes are pretty good. I enjoy them. They were well executed, except for the animation. I'm going to get into that in a moment. And there's one particular episode with Bato in it, and I think it's called First Bank Robbery. And it's just entirely Bato. I mean, you don't even see the rest of Section 9 until the very end, and even then they don't really say anything. It's just watching them fist bump each other in a airport. But anyway, Bato goes in, and it's very reminiscent of an earlier episode. I believe it's during Laughing Man, I think, where Aramaki is in a bank where wine it's a wine bank where the value is based on wine, on the vintage of the wine, and these two robbers come in and try to rob the place, and they just bungle it. It's kind of an episode that has a lot of serious points to it with a little bit of levity. In this one, with Baotao, it's basically the same kind of concept. There's two or three people in the lobby of this bank who are elderly, and they're trying to get cash, and it's not working out well for them. And anyway, so they get robbed, and they're all stuck inside the bank, and Bato has to figure out how to fix the situation. And instead of being serious with moments of levity, it's pretty funny with a couple moments of seriousness. It's a very good episode. I would watch it for that. So there's that. I like the fact that they kind of glossed over how the Tachikomas evolved from Kuze, the Kuze's, solid state storylines to where they are now. The Tachikomas are the same, and they're awesome. Like I said, Togo-san is a good character. The overall idea and plot is very interesting, and so those are about the good things I'll say. So, the intro and outro songs are not done by Yoko Kanno. They are more popish, but they're pretty good. They're not too bad, so they're enjoyable to listen to and to watch. So I'm going to wrap this up part of what I like, and I'm going to go into what I don't like, which unfortunately is a little bit more. I'm going to start off with the big glaring one for me, and that is the animation. I'm not big on complete computer-generated animation. I don't mind it when it's worked into cell animation or into, kind of that hybrid animation. When it's worked into it, and Ghost in the Shell as a franchise usually does that and does it fairly well, I think. But this series, 2045, is totally computer generated. It doesn't really work for me. The other part of it is that while the story is interesting, and there's interesting parts of the story, and that there are interesting storylines, and there are specific episodes that are really good, the overall telling of the story, going from beginning to end of the first 12 episodes, is really janky. It just stops and starts and sputters, and you're just like, okay, get to the next thing. Please, for the love of God, get to the next level. It just doesn't, there's no flow to it. And that's unfortunate because usually that's what you get out of a Ghost in the Shell, is a story. Sometimes it takes them a long time to tell the story, multiple episodes, but that's okay. In this case, you can tell that the budget wasn't there, and they wanted to just go ahead and just get it done. It's almost is what it feels like. So they're just the storytelling is very janky, much like the animation. But when it's good, it's really good. Like I said, the parts with Togusa and the last two episodes and the first bank robbery episode, in terms of story, really good. The other part I don't like is the character design of the Major. One of the biggest problems with that some people have with the Major is that she's over-sexualized. And that is true. When you look at a lot of, from the manga to standalone complex to, certain elements of the movies, she's dressed very provocatively. She's very much fan service kind of stuff going on, almost. And but when you really think about it, like for example in the movies, there's that beautiful scene, where's that fight scene where she's in the camouflage, so she's really just shimmering. You don't really see much of her until the water splashes on her, and you see a little bit of an outline. And it's just like this one guy fighting an invisible fighter. But then at the end of it, you find that she's completely naked, and Bao puts a coat around her. And one of the things you realize through the course of that movie, the Ghost in the Shell movie, is that the whole point of that is saying that how so far removed she is from her humanity, that she doesn't, being naked doesn't bother her. In a standalone complex, she almost uses that look as a weapon. There are moments in the series where you're just like, oh, she's doing this on purpose. Not a great thing, to say, hey, it's okay to use sex as a weapon, but there it is. But there's at least a reason behind it, and also that the character design itself is more mature. She's a woman. She's not a little girl. She's a woman. She's not some teenage with a woman. I don't know how else to express it than that. The problem with this one is that while she has kind of the same outfit as she does in the rest of the standalone complex, the jacket and the kind of the uniform she wears, kind of, the rest of her character design, you almost feel like it's going to drop into EDM music, and she's going to start stripping, and she's going to start giggling like a little girl. That's what she looks like. She looks like a doll. I don't know if that's on purpose or if that's just the character design, and that's what they can get away with the CG. I don't know, but it's disturbing, and I don't really like it that much. The Major is a mature woman, or so we think, because she could be a guy. That's something that in Ghost of the Shell that people have never been able to really nail down. Is the Major originally a guy or a woman? But anyway, that's a whole separate issue. But she looks like a doll, and she looks cute, but so what? This is not what you're here for. One of my biggest, other than the animation, one of my biggest issues is with a character they introduce. Her name is Purin Isaki. Yes, Purin Isaki. Think about all the annoying stereotypes of a fangirl. Not even joking. All those stereotypes from like anime that's geared towards young teenage girls, and how high pitched voice and just very high energy, and just kind of a little bit of awkwardness, but a huge fangirl kind of thing going on. That's this character, and she's a fangirl of Bao. And it's very obnoxious, and it's almost rude, and I swear to God, if at the end of 2045 Bao and she hooks up, I'm just going to be really upset about this. It's a needless character. She doesn't need to exist. It's clearly a demographic grab. They're trying to grab a new demographic. By putting this on Netflix, they know who their audience is. It's a younger audience. So they're trying to throw a younger element into this, which is really an adult series. And so they throw this character in there, and she's so freaking obnoxious, dude. She's so freaking obnoxious. You really wish, you either hope that she leaves on her own, or she gets shot in the head. You're gonna hate her. You're going to hate her. Okay, so that's it on what I don't like about this. I'm gonna wrap this up here, simply because I am at work and I actually do have to do work. But so my recommendation to you is this: if you are a fan of Ghost in the Shell, if you're already vested into the franchise as I am, you're gonna have to watch this anyway. Come to your own conclusions. You're probably going to be like me. You're going to be disappointed in it. You're not going to hate it. That's not going to happen. But you're going to be disappointed because you know what it can be. And hopefully the second half of 2045, the next 12 episodes, will be much better. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that, because obviously I'm going to watch that. So if you're a fan of Ghost in the Shell, you're going to watch it, prepared to be disappointed, but enjoy the good parts of it. You'll recognize the good parts for what they are. If you are a new person to Ghost in the Shell, You don't need to see all the other Ghost in the Shells to understand this one. You don't need to do all that to get into this show, which is fine. But I just wish it was done better, because I feel like if you watch this show and then you're like, okay, I'm done with it, when there's so much more that came up previous to it that you should be watching. It's just a really good franchise. It is very clear to me that Netflix and IG, Netflix is a distributor, IG is still the producer, and ironically, it's still one of the directors from the original series is also included on this, and it surprises me that he's allowed this product to come out. So overall, if you're new to it, yeah, okay, but just know that the franchise is a lot better than that. So with that, I'm gonna stop talking about it, because I feel like I've even gone too long on this time around, but not as bad as last time. 40 minutes. That's how long I talked about it last time, and it just didn't make any sense. So anyway, I hope this one made sense. It's a little bit shorter. And anyway, as you know, this is the Unagi Observer. My name is Steve Gearhart. If you like this video as much as I rambled, please hit the like button. If you would subscribe, I would love it if you did. If we get 250 people, digital sushi for everybody. Who doesn't like digital sushi? We all love digital sushi. And plus, I would love it if you did subscribe. So keep that in mind. And I know COVID-19 out there is still going on. It sucks. And if you're suffering from it, I hope you get better soon, real soon. And I hope life gets back to normal. But just know in the meantime, I want you guys to stay safe. I want you guys to stay healthy. Follow the guidelines, because I love you guys, and I love it that you watch my show, my YouTube channel. So you guys take care of yourself. I love you, and I'll see you next time.